Hey guys, this is Brad and Mike from Dallas Geek, and today...
What are we talking about today, Brad?
Today, we're gonna talk... Dear Lord.
Which one do you want to go over?
Let's go with issues with directing and casting choices.
Okay,
So Mike, you want to take this one to start?
You good? Do I need to take the lead?
I think I need a second.
Okay. Deep breaths. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. All right. So, the video that we're going to be talking about today is going to be the choices of directing and casting in comic book movies, pop culture movies, all that fun stuff. What do you think? Where do you want to? What direction do you want to be? Do you want to be Negative Nancy, or do you want to?
I think I'll go with negative on this one.
Okay.
I'll let you take the positive.
Okay. So for me, most importantly is directing. Like, getting a good director for your movie is crucial to bring the characters to life, to flesh out your story, to do all of that. Nothing kills a movie worse for me than having a director that's way in over their head or doesn't get what the movie's trying to do, or the characters that are being portrayed and trying to be brought to life. Dude, for me, a perfect example of this was like Favreau doing Iron Man.
Yeah.
When they got Favreau, like, a lot of people were like, dude, the dude that did Elf is doing Iron Man? And like, you come to find out that like he was a huge Iron Man fan, and like he literally fought tooth and nail to get it. Oh, yeah. And then they gave it to him. And he got a good writer and he got a good script, and then they were like, all right, who do you want to cast? He's like, I want Downey Jr. And Marvel was like, dude, what? Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
You had a talented enough director to make a movie that was good enough to start the first great modern cinematic universe because of that one movie. I mean...
Yeah, and that's just it. It was Marvel Studios' first movie. Like, if it went bad, there was no coming back.
No.
And Favreau's like, yeah, I want the dude that literally nobody will touch because he's so nuclear, like nuclear to work with.
Yeah.
And like, he had to fight tooth and nail, and they did it, and it worked out perfectly. And like, that, to me, being the big film nerd that I am, like, if you get your director and you get your stars, and they work well together and they get what they're trying to do, like, I don't understand how a movie can fail or a movie can be bad if you get those key ingredients.
Oh, yeah. Now, on the opposite side, we can even stay within the context of Marvel, just switch studios and go with frickin' Fan Forstick and Josh Trank. I mean, look, I will not say anything bad about Chronicle.
Oh, God, I would.
I actually liked it. But here's the thing. That was the perfect example of a guy who didn't understand the story, didn't understand the characters, and the studio just pulled him in because he was the newest flashy name on the scene. But if the guy that is leading the vision for the film doesn't understand the story that's supposed to be driving the film, no amount of editing is going to fix that. Mm. No amount of acting can make up for that. No amount of anything else that the studio will do can make up for a guy that just doesn't get it, that is leading the charge on this is what it should look like. You can't fix that.
I would argue Mark Webb too. Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. He definitely did not understand it. I think Mark Webb is great with what he does, but he is not an action guy. And that's just the problem. I mean, he can shoot action scenes well, he just doesn't understand them in a way that can put together a cohesive story that connects the action scenes. I mean, I'm surprised I'm actually saying this, but frickin' Michael Bay can connect action scenes in a story better than Mark Webb, because at least Michael Bay isn't trying to put some complex story behind his action scenes. He understands what he is, he understands what he does, and he knows that For him, all you need is a minimal story that can put the action scenes together. Mark Webb tried to come in and do what he does, which is these big, complex stories, and then he attempted to interrupt that with all this different action, and it just made it seem so jerky and disjointed and made no freaking sense.
I hate you for defending Michael Bay right now.
It is one of the only times you will ever hear me say it, but that is the one time when Michael Bay will beat Mark Webb, is that he understands action and Mark Webb does not. Mark Webb is good at storytelling as long as you keep the flash away from it. Yeah. Keep the flash and explosions away from it, and Mark Webb is good.
So, and for me, Marvel seems to be the one that's doing this the best. Or, is that proper English? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll call it good.
Every one of their films has had a different director. Like, Favreau did Iron Man 1 and 2.
Yep.
Captain America: The First Avenger was a period piece. They go and get Joe Johnston to do it.
Yep.
Let me think. Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton was a chase movie. They got Louis Leterrier, the guy that did the first two Transporters, and then he did Now You See Me.
Yep.
And then also taking a risk on not super well-known directors or first-time directors because they understood the character, like the Russos.
Yes.
John Anthony getting to do
my gosh, yes.
Winter Soldier and Civil War. Literally they came in, they're like, this is our idea, this is where we want to take the character. Yeah. Basically put out a love letter right there to the heads of Marvel and Disney. They're like, yeah, we're going to give it to you. And everybody was like, dude, the guys that did Arrested Development and Community are getting to do fucking Captain America? What?
Now, to go from big vision to small part of the vision, problems with casting.
God, it can make or break a movie.
Yeah, and I mean, while the director, choice in director is going to make or break the movie as a whole.
Yeah.
The individual pieces that make up the movie can make the difference between a mediocre film and an amazing film.
Yeah.
Or can make the difference between a mediocre film and something that you wouldn't watch in your worst drunken stupor.
Right.
I mean, let's go back to Mark Webb's Amazing Spider-Man, for example.
I didn't like Garfield.
I personally was fine with the choice of Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy,
I liked that.
But then you go with Andrew Garfield. I think Andrew Garfield can be a great actor with the right movies, but he didn't understand half of the character that he was doing. Because when you're playing Spider-Man, you have to be able to understand the Peter Parker persona and you have to understand the Spider-Man persona.
Yeah.
I thought he understood Spider-Man decently because he got that vibrato and overly cockiness of the beginning of the Spider-Man setup.
Yeah.
But he did not understand Peter Parker whatsoever.
No.
Now, on the inverse of that, you go over to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Oh, Toby.
Yeah. He understood Peter Parker better than I think anybody else.
No, absolutely. I wouldn't agree, but I still think, man, the biggest one that people were like, what?
Yeah.
And then everybody was blown away was Ledger.
Yes. I don't think anybody saw that one coming.
No. Dude, I could even argue that was bigger than Keaton as Batman.
Yeah. I'll give you that one.
I could argue that was bigger than
the rom-com guy for the big villain of the sequel to the biggest thing to happen to superheroes in about almost a decade at that point.
Dude, I could even argue I could argue that was bigger than Nicholson as the Joker in Tim Burton's original.
Yeah, because Nicholson had already been able to show that he can do villain, he could do we'll say anti-hero at the best.
He could also do Unhinged and Crazy and anything
but
like that.
Ledger, up until that point, the most non-rom-com that he had ever done was, I think, A Knight's Tale, and even then, that was still pretty heavy in the rom-com.
He did Brokeback.
Yeah, okay, yeah. He
did The Brothers Grimm.
But, much of what everybody saw him as before then was oh, the rom-com guy. Yeah, he can do kind of douchey. He can do sweet, but where's the real acting chops there?
I will
and then
never.
he came out and
I was about to
blew
say,
everybody away.
I will never forget that they announced him playing the Joker, and just like, what? And then you get into filming and everything like that, and then like you're hearing stories coming out that like this is one of the most like amazing portrayals of any character, and like from Heath Ledger. And then you see the first trailer, and you're like, oh damn.
Yeah.
And then you see the second trailer, and you're like, oh damn. And then the movie comes out, and you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, especially when he is playing opposite a guy that had already, who, while the hero for the movie, had previously been one of the iconic villains of modern horror films with American Psycho.
Yeah.
So you already knew that if you're going to be playing a villain opposite Christian Bale, you have to bring it.
Well,
and so that was already a high bar to be able to say, okay, well, you have to really have something there, otherwise it's going to be just easily overshadowed.
And then it also goes back to the directing thing, in that they had Chris Nolan directing it, but he was also writing it with his brother, and those two just get Batman so well that like I pray to God every night that they just come back to the franchise and just do every Batman movie from here on out. They don't even have to direct, just write it. Just give me a script like every 2 to 3 years and I'll be good.
Well, hell, the movie I would love to see Nolan come back and do, just because I want to see somebody that can do it justice. Green Lantern.
Yeah. That'd be a good one.
Let him take the reins on that one. It's going to be more special effects driven than he's used to, but I think if anybody has a chance at doing it right, give it to him.
But for him to take a flyer on Ledger.
Yeah.
Even to go back to for Warner Brothers to take a flyer on Nolan. Because he had done Memento, he'd done Insomnia, and then Batman Begins, and it was like, whoa.
But then to focus a little bit more again on bad casting choices. I know that we picked on it quite a bit, but I still have to go back to Fan Four Stick and really the entire cast. Individually, I think every one of those actors are talented actors. I think when they were given a genre...
I'm not a super big Miles Teller fan.
I
loved him in Whiplash because he was just getting bitch-slapped by...
I loved him in Whiplash. I've actually loved him in a lot of the stuff that he's done. But the thing is, each of those four, I think they have shown that they can do a really good job with the right piece.
Yeah.
But in that particular movie, it felt like they were trying to go for too much of a gimmick. You said it before we started filming.
Let's get a bunch of young actors that stars are on the rise, and let's put them all in a movie together.
Yeah, and I think that's a real problem, because you can't do that.
No.
You if you're going to be, just like you need a director that understands the story and the characters, you need actors that are going to be able to understand the characters that they're playing. And while I'm not saying that they don't have the ability to understand their characters, I don't think they understood those specific characters. And I don't think the entire environment was set up for them to even have a fighting chance at it.
No.
Because, Michael B. Jordan, I am dying to see him in what he's going to be doing in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Because I think the director, the other cast members, I think that's going to give him so much to work with that I really think that we're going to see a proper superhero redemption for him. But
supervillain.
Superhero genre.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. So, but I mean, we could keep going on and on about casting and directing choices, good and bad, for hours. But the fact of the matter is, those decisions will make or break a film.
Oh,
and I think we both agree that it would behoove most studios to pay closer attention to that than to just say, who's a flashy name we can throw around for this movie just to get attention, but not actually pay attention to whether or not they're right for it.
Right.
So.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
That's it. Directing is one of the most important things in terms of actually making a good film.
Yep.
So you got to get a good one. But yeah.
All right. So
cool.
I guess with that, this is Brad and Mike from Dallas Geek saying, see you.